and welcome to your weekly messages through tarot with me, Deborah Jane Sutton. And today is Saturday, the 9th of November, 2024. And after a rather emotional message last week, I'm hoping for a more together one this week. Things do feel a lot lighter, definitely. There is still a lot of devastation here in Valencia, but I'm going to focus on that. Although a card has just come out as I said that. um, but if you are interested in knowing more about the truth of what's going on in Valencia, I suggest that you follow me on Facebook because I'm sharing a lot there, which is much more local for the local community. Because as I said last week, and I'm seeing it even more this week, this really is part of the Great Awakening, where the established systems which are operating outside of alignment with divine truth, they're crumbling. Then they can't exist anymore because the frequency of the collective has risen so much, and they're not in resonance with the frequency of love and joy and peace and harmony and gratitude that we are carrying in our hearts now. So any system, right, and that can relate to collective in your community and within you, right? That is not resonating at the frequency of love or the frequency of, willing to love, shall we say, the frequency of following your heart and following your moral compass and all of that. If it's not at that frequency, it will fall away one way or another. And that's what I'm seeing. And the people with the hearts full of love are basically taking over. And of course, it's a process, and it's actually going to be a very different process for everybody. There isn't just one collective, because we're all creating our own reality, and they're all so unique based on our own experiences, our own emotions, our own perceptions of things. But within that, when we have the same perception and beliefs as other people, then they become more manifested in the physical realm, and become collective beliefs and collective thoughts. So, that's where we get this collective from. But even that is kind of, a little bit wishy-washy, because there's other people that I think I gave this example before, with the flat earth and the globe. There's people that believe this and they're creating that experience in one dimension or another. And then other people believe this and they are creating that experience in a dimension within the physical realm. But so there are two collective experiences there. And it's the same with everything in life. But the more that people believe something, then the more dominant it is in the collective, if that makes sense. I mean, it's all kind of quantum and so a little bit lost on me, but it kind of makes sense to me in that simplistic way. But anyway, so the Great Awakening is underway, and we can see the stories, the prophecies playing out. I've often said it's in the astrology, it's in the cards. It's from 2020. It was the beginning of the Great Awakening. We're now nearly halfway through, and to me, it's really clear. And you've got to make your choices from the heart. Got to make your choices, from your morals. Because not because you're a goody-goody, but because life is really difficult when you go against your divine nature. That's what, and life is really easy when you go in the flow of your divine nature. So really it is about following our divine nature, isn't it? And in order to tap into that, I'll put in a link in the description video in the end screen of the November messages, because obviously they're really relevant, which are all about mastering our thoughts and mastering our emotions, which is what raises our frequency and allows us to access fifth dimensional levels of consciousness, because of course our emotions and our beliefs and our thoughts are all in our fourth dimensional energy body, and that's what we want to transcend in order to access fifth dimensional levels of consciousness, or Christ levels of consciousness, or heaven on earth levels of consciousness, however you want to view it. If all of that kind of Babel is new to you and you want to know more about yourself as a multidimensional being and how to master your emotions and your thoughts, I do little demo in that video, the November messages. But if you want to know more about it, do a deep dive into lessons in awakening. Check out my whole series on this channel, Lessons in Awakening. And they're like 20-minute bite-sized chunks of different things we need to know about ourselves energetically, emotionally, mentally, in order to access the higher levels of consciousness. So yeah, check that out because that's November's messages. I'm also going to put a link in the description and the video in the end screen to last week's messages, even though they were it was me walking my talk, I want to say. I was embracing my vulnerability. I've been doing that quite a lot this week, actually. And it's interesting because that is one of the lines from the Garden Retreat's intention is we encourage you to face your vulnerability and work with your emotions because it is in doing so that we create greater health and happiness or something like that in the Garden Retreat's intention. And that's exactly what I have been doing. So I'll put a link into that because it was all about transmuting sadness into love. And I also do a demo in that of both the emotion code and the brain integration. So that is anyone that is suffering from sadness and wants to help process that sadness and transmute it into love. That's the video that could help you with that. The other thing I want to say, of course, is tomorrow, Sunday, the 10th of November at 7 p.m. Spanish time, we have Tarot and Beyond with the lovely Liz Nagle. So the Zoom link for that, you can find it. Actually, I'll put the Zoom link in the description. I usually it's on my website at deborahjanesutton.com. I normally send people there to get it, but actually I've put it out on Facebook now. I don't know. I just think maybe some people need some card readings. I don't know. Maybe I do. It's usually like that, right? But I'll put the Zoom link in the description. But it is also on my website. So that's a free online event. So you're welcome to join. I'm going to do a full Celtic Cross reading for the group, whoever's there. Liz will be there as well to add her words of wisdom, which are always very much appreciated. And finally, my Learn to Read Tarot course. If you want to actually learn to read tarot for yourself, I've done 2 courses before and thoroughly enjoyed them and had lovely feedback. So my third Learn to Read Tarot course I've got 2 places left. So it's starting on Monday, the 18th of November. So that's only 2 weeks away, I think, right? If that, no, yeah, it's a week on Monday. Yeah, it starts. So it's not long to go. I've got a lovely group of ladies together already. It doesn't have to be ladies, obviously. Men are welcome to join. It's just that I think the women are tapping into their witchy ways. It starts on the 18th of November, which is a Monday. Again, 7 p.m. Spanish time, 6 p.m. in the UK. It's 4 weekly sessions. The sessions are quite long. They're like 2.5 hours long. And sometimes, because I talk a lot, it could go over 2.5 hours. But it won't go over 3 hours, don't worry. And it's 4 weekly sessions. So 4 weekly Mondays. So it's the 25th, the 2nd of December and the 9th of December is the last one. And we cover all of the cards. We cover all the basic interpretations of them from the Rider-Waite deck. We look at the imagery and the elements, of course, which are really important. We look at some astrology, the numerology, and some of the, other interpretations of the cards. And I will also go through my own personal interpretations of the cards. But what I love most about it, which is why I do it when I'm live with people rather than just putting a video course out, is because I really enjoy helping people find their unique way of reading tarot, which will be based on their perceptions, their passions, what they're interested in, and what they're good at. and help people tap into their own intuition, because it's all about intuitive reading. It's all about saying what comes in and trusting. It's about trusting your intuition as well. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that part because there's no right and wrong way to read tarot. But most people doubt their intuition coming in. So, and also everyone's so unique. No two people are going to read tarot the same. And so I really want to encourage you to bring out that uniqueness where all your divine gifts come to the fore, and you can read tarot in that most beautiful, unique way that it's just for you to do. But based on some knowledge and understanding of the origins of tarot and the original interpretations. So if you want to take one of those two places, then all the details are on the website at deborahjanesutton.com, and send me a message from there and let me know you want to join. So let's see if there's anything else. So one card came out already. Do we have any other messages for this week? Thank you. Thank you. Now I can really feel change in the air. I don't know about you guys. I feel a lot lighter. Maybe probably because I processed all that sadness and grief last week. You know, when we process these trapped emotions, it not only makes us feel better, but when we don't have those low frequency emotions in the cells of our body, then they can't get triggered in us again, can they? Because the outside is a reflection of the inside. I'm not saying that, I've released all sadness, because we are the whole universe in one human being, right? So when you've processed your human's quota of trapped emotions, you can then help the collective release theirs, which is what, for me, last week was about, because there was obviously a lot of sadness and grief in the Valencia area, and there still is, but it's so much more now, the love and the support and the help. And there is a little bit of anger and stuff like that. People are on their journey. People are processing emotions. But the point is, you were coming out of the grief and the fear. And we have to go through anger on the map of consciousness, don't we? We need to go through that angry frequency in order to get to the willingness and the reason and the love and the joy and the peace. So yeah, it's all as it should be, and it is a great awakening, and the people are leading the way. It's beautiful, isn't it? Anyway, let's dive into the cards. So the first card is the Seven of Cups. I love the fact that cups have come up now, because cups are the emotions, and they are our guidance. I will put a link in, as I have often done, for a book called Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. There's an audio book. The book is in audio form on YouTube, and so it's really accessible to everybody. Excuse me. Because the cups being emotions, it's the water sign going with the flow. There's a lot of water around. Valencia isn't the only place that got flooded. It's also happened in Barcelona, down in Malaga, and that's just in Spain. It's been happening all over the place. So water is very is a theme, and that was also mentioned by the lovely Pam Gregory in her astrology updates. Astrologically, there's an explanation why water is relevant. And so some people getting too much water, as in rains and floods, and some people not having enough water, because when you do have devastation like that, the water systems fail. And so very often we can have loads of water outside, dirty, muddy water in the streets, but we don't have water in the houses, clean water coming in the houses. So it's kind of a real water problem, and you've got too much in one place and not enough where you need it. So the water sign is relevant, I think, as an element. But also the cups represent your intuition and your spirituality and your creativity. And this is crucial because we've mastered our emotions, or we're in the process of mastering our emotions, because we're in November, and that's what November's messages were all about. And transmuting the sadness to love, which is what last week's messages were all about. So now we're feeling emotionally stronger. That's what I want to say. We're emotionally stronger. And cups also represent, as I said, your intuition. And we are getting very intuitive now. The more we raise our frequency, we expand into higher levels of consciousness, and our intuition just automatically gets heightened. when we do that. And that's one of the reasons why I love sharing reading cards, because playing with cards, it's a way to play with your intuition. And when we play with things in a light-hearted manner, full of love and joy, that's when they get heightened. That's when they get amplified. Right. That's why it's so important to celebrate with your loved ones. That's why it's still important to come together and have fun and joy, even when there's devastation going on. It's really important to do that, because by raising our frequency in that way, we are raising the frequency of the collective. So I know there's a lot of people in my area. And of course, I host events as well, that are making us feel like, oh, we shouldn't put events out, we shouldn't put this, joyful stuff out. But when your events are focused on raising frequency, and they are focused on bringing the community together, and they are focused on lightening the energy, bringing the light in, okay, being light-hearted, okay, it's all connected, then these events are needed. We need these events at this time. And they work to not only raise the frequency, but expand and heighten our intuition. And of course, this is all part of our spiritual journey. So I'm not surprised that cups have come up. Now, the Seven of Cups is typically about choosing wisely, because he has all these options in front of him. And it is about choosing wisely. And what does that mean? It means choosing from the heart. Okay, because there's lots of options. This figure here, they can do all these different things. Now, what are we choosing to do with our time, our money, and our energy? We need to choose wisely. This has come up so many times. We need to choose the activities that are going to raise our frequency. We need to choose activities that are going to help us express our divinity. What does that mean? It means helping us express who we really are, and to express our gifts, whatever your gifts are. Okay? Our gifts are not judging others. Let's just say that. Our gifts are not judging others is not a gift. That's the shadow. Okay? We're looking for our gifts. So whether it be physical strength, go and help somebody. If it's emotional strength, go and hug somebody. If it's healing, go and heal somebody. If it's dancing, go and dance and encourage other people to do it. What's your gift? If it's gardening, go and grow something, share it with others. This is about choosing channels in our life to express our gifts, to express our emotions, to express our divinity, because it's spirituality, to use our intuition, okay, and to use our emotions, our feeling as our guidance. Use your feelings as a guidance system. If it feels expansive, go for it. If it feels contracting, don't. It's as simple as that. Now, some of these channels, what I normally say with this card is, some of these channels may cost you money. Some of these channels may bring you in money. And some of these channels may do neither. And it's not about the money. And I know we all need money, and there's a lot of people obviously donating a lot of stuff at the moment to people in need. And but this is not, it's because often people will make a choice about the work they do, and they'll say, oh, but I have to do that because I need the money. But if it's not raising your frequency, then it's not helping you. If it's lowering your frequency and putting you in a resonance that it's not your resonance, you're just going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to keep you low, right? And our future lies in our frequency and not in our bank account. I know that's a difficult one to get our head around, but our future lies in our frequency. And our frequency goes wherever we go. Because what is our reality that we're perceiving as being our reality, our physical reality, is actually a holographic projection of our perceptions and of our frequency and the emotions and the beliefs within us. That's what's creating our reality. And if you feel abundant on the inside, then you will create abundance on the outside. It's about the frequency of abundance and not about the number in the bank account, if that makes sense. Just an important point to make, because with all these choices, most people will bring in the financial, and it's understandable, and some cases people are going to do that, but it's just something to keep in mind. That's just a seed I wanted to plant there about that, because there's lots of choices. This figure here has many choices, and it's about understanding, making the choices from the heart, making the choices from your moral guidance. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is so funny because it's the Fool card, and I very nearly said with this card, isn't that funny? Because I kind of stopped myself because the cards are face down. For anyone new, welcome if you're new. Those of you that have been watching before, you know that the cards are face down until I turn them over. But what I was going to say was our future lies in our frequency, right? And I was going to, and I nearly said like the Fool card because he has the flower in the palm of his hand, which is a sign that his fruition is coming from him. It's in his hands. Wherever we go with our hands, on or without, if people don't have hands for whatever reason, but wherever we go with with our energy body, that's what's creating our fruition. Our abundance is coming from our frequency. That's what I've just said, isn't it? And the Fool is a really good example of that. So perfect, perfect. Thank you, Fool, for coming up now. It's a major arcana card. It's the first of the major arcanas. Of course it is. It's an absolutely new beginning for us. He has got love in his heart. He has transmuted his sadness. Okay, he doesn't know where he's going. It's the unknown. It's like we're so programmed and so used to the life that we were born into that we can't imagine this new world and this new way of living based on love and kindness. It's new for us, and we're taking this massive leap of faith. But what we know is that the systems that have been holding us down and systems that we've been brought up in are not serving us, and they're not operating in alignment with divine truth. I like that phrase. I got that from Paul Selig. I have to credit Paul Selig for that. Um, but the systems that are not operating in alignment with divine truth, you know what I mean, right? They are no longer in our reality. They don't need to be in our reality because we're not going to be investing in them. But we're starting from scratch. The Fool is starting from scratch. He's going forward with very little because the choices that he's made are from the heart and not from his belief that he needs to make more money or he needs to go with the option that brings him in the most money, because he's quite happy to live with this little. He's got everything he needs. So he's had everything. He's detached from everything. He's downsized. I don't know what. He's just like detoxed from everything. He's had a clear out, and he's going forward with only what he needs. And look, he's got his little loyal friend there, because the dogs, the dogs come with us, right? There's been a lot of dogs helping in Valencia as well as service dogs, and it's been lovely because of course there was a lot of dogs found lost and everything else. So yeah, I'm not surprised that the dog is here, just to show us how important our animals are, how important animals are to go forward with, and how we do want to live in harmony with them. They're helping us and we help them, and at that point my dogs just bark. Can you hear it? I don't know whether you can pick it up on here, but I love it. I love the way it all works. Anyway, the Fool, new beginnings. It's an adventure. We're on this great awakening adventure together. Okay, it's absolutely beautiful. He's got a song in his heart. He's got a skip in his step, and he's about to take a massive leap of faith off this cliff, right? The precipice. He's just about to jump or to leap. And the sun in tarot, the rays of the sun show spiritual guidance. And so, look, he's totally spiritually guided to take this leap of faith and to go forward with little materialism, but with a heart full of love and joy. And that's us now. That's us now, the people, that's humanity now, going forward, understanding that whatever we have in our hands is our future. That's what we're creating our frequency with. And we take everything, we take our hearts with us, don't we? And that's what we're creating from the heart. So, and we're coming together and working together. This whole idea that we have to be so independent. I mean, in a way, we are independent because we're all sovereign, and there's only us that is responsible for our reality, for creating our reality. But having said that, we can work with each other. So someone's good physically, and someone else is good emotionally, and somebody else is, good with some other skill, and the healers are there, and the gardeners are there, and people coming together and helping each other because everyone's got a role to play. And we don't all have to play the same role because that would be boring, right? Because we are all fractals of source energy we've come here to experience ourselves and to experience our uniqueness. So there will be a unique way that you can help the collective at this time of the Great Awakening. And if you're not sure of your unique path, then do what brings you the most joy, because that is your unique path. Because if you do what brings you the most joy, obviously that's going to raise you. And when your frequency is raised, the frequency of the collective is raised. It has to be, because the outside is a reflection of the inside. Remember the second of the Hermetic principles, the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. So it's not selfish to focus on yourself. It's not selfish to focus on, how your heart feels, because filling your heart with joy and love is the greatest service that you can give to humanity at this time. And people need to wake up. That's the part of the Great Awakening. There's two parts, I think, of the Great Awakening. The first one is waking up to the fact that the way we've been programmed and the systems that we were born into are not serving us. And the second part of the Great Awakening is to understand how we as energy beings are the creators of our own reality, and how it is up to us, each and every one of us individually, to raise our frequency and to see the world differently so that we can change the world, because how we see the world changes the world. Now, that's a quantum truth, and we don't need to get into the ins and outs of quantum physics, but how we see the world is what changes the world. Yes, that's a really important point. And he's seeing the world with excitement, anticipation, and joy. And yeah, he's not a fool as in foolish or stupid in any way, but he's a little bit naive because he doesn't know what's coming, and we don't know what's coming, do we? Except here you go, I'll make this stuff up. The next card is the star. That's heaven on earth. That's my heaven on earth card. It's also Aquarius because we've moved into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is humanitarian, freedom, and all these lovely things. And I've talked before about Pluto, because of course on the 19th of, that's in 10 days time, right? The 19th of November is when Pluto moves from Capricorn back into Aquarius, Capricorn being governmental systems, top bottom governmental systems, Aquarius being grassroots, people-based systems, grassroots up. And so, oh my God, it's a beautiful card. It's an amazing card. I love it. I absolutely love it. The big star in the middle represents your essence, your true essence. That's your divinity. That's who you are, your uniqueness. And the seven stars around it represent the chakras, which are our light bodies. That's why they're the colors of the rainbow, because we're actually light bodies. We're created from that light, and each color has a different frequency, which has a different it helps us in our human experience in a different way. I'm not going to talk about all the chakras now, but and most of you probably know about them anyway if you're watching this video. But we are light bodies, and it's about understanding that. That's why balancing chakras are so important, and understanding them as the light that they are, because that's why we talk about being light beings, and the light, the love. It's the energy from source, isn't it? It's beautiful. We've got the flowing water, which of course shows emotional fulfillment. The traditional message with this card is paradise and fertile lands. We've been talking about fruition in his hands, but because he's going to this new land, which is a vibrational match to him. I want to say that. So the new that we're creating has to be, from a quantum perspective, a vibrational match to us, which is why loving yourself and loving everybody is so important, because when we do that, we create a reality based on love. And that's when people will come in and love you more. The systems that are developed and grown will be based on love, they'll be founded on the frequency of love. There's a lot of these systems already in place. Yeah, a lot of new systems coming in. I'm thinking of Robert E. Grant at the moment. He's got a messenger service called Orion. So there's a lot of other systems that are coming in that are founded in the frequency of love. I just want to say that it's already there, right? Because those people that are at that frequency are obviously creating reality at that frequency. So it's beautiful. And understanding that helps us tap into it all, right? Beautiful. So where's the fool going? He's going to heaven on earth. This is my heaven on earth card, right? It's fantastic. So you've got the astrology of the Aquarius bit here going on, which is all about humanitarian, all about the people, all about freedom, because we don't want to be enslaved with, people telling us what to do and how to spend our money and stuff like that. We want to follow our moral guidance. We want to follow our moral compass and work from the heart, and it's not about keeping all the money for yourself. Of course it's not. I mean, now everyone's donating like crazy for the people in need, and it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So yeah. So after the sadness comes the love. Beautiful. Both major arcana cards. And it's not surprising that they've come on the heels of this. Choose wisely. Choose your actions wisely. Make sure that your actions are expanding your heart. And they do expand when you help others. We came here to serve. We came here to serve. And we serve others by serving ourselves, but not in a selfish way. Often the phrase serving self is used for people that are wanting everything for themselves and greedy, but also by serving yourself because the divine has created it beautifully, because the things that you love doing are the things that the divine want you to do, right? That's why you love doing them. The whole idea is to make it easy. It's like, well, let's she's meant to be reading tarot, so let's make her feel full of joy when she picks up her cards, and then she'll pick up her cards more often. Or this person just needs to be in nature and needs to work with plants, so let's make them feel really light and joyful every time they're working with plants. It's the same for everybody. When we help somebody else heal on their journey, it heals us. So it is, when you go to the other end of the scale, it is about self-service. It's not like you've got to work hard. You just have to be who you instinctively are, and let that person out and express that person, because in your uniqueness, you will be aligning with your divinity. When you align with your divinity, not only will you create heaven on earth for yourself, but you will create it for the collective, because that's how it works. So I mean, I'm very long-winded, I know. I heard someone say, I can't remember where now, but they brought it right back down to just just love what you love. Just love what you love. That's it. What do we need to do in life? What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life? What do we need to do? Just love what you love. Just love what you love. Keep loving what you love. Love what you love. The last card this week is the Eight of Cups. So we've started with cups, we're ending with cups. It's emotional time. Of course, we are on an emotional roller coaster. And it is about the November cards, which are all about mastering our emotions and mastering our thoughts. So there is a lot of going into our cave and processing emotions that are coming up. And you might not know where they're coming from. You might not relate to them as you're human, but understand that, if you're watching this video, you're a light worker, you're a way shower, you're a healer, you're a transmuter. And so he's going into his cave to feel the emotion. It's my trigger card. I will put a link into understanding triggers for those of you that are new to my channel. Because it is important to understand that we're not blaming and pointing fingers, that we have to take radical responsibility for everything that turns up in our holographic projection that we're calling life, right? We've got to take responsibility for it, because on some level, it's resonating with something inside of us. And that's what this is. It's bringing that stuff up for us to acknowledge it, us to see it, and us to transmute it into love, and to understand, or just to see it from a level of love, just to see it from a place of self-love and reflection, helps. It just helps expand you as long as you can see it from an expanded state, and it's the feeling it and acknowledging it that actually transmutes it. So the this is a some say it's an eclipse, but it's got the moon and the sun together, you see. The moon is symbolic of subconscious fears, and the sun, of course, is symbolic of the light, and the moon is often the shadow. So this is about bringing the light in, and the shadow is there, and just acknowledging them and bringing them together rather than disowning your shadow, rather than pointing fingers and saying, you made me angry, you're bad, you're wrong, and all of that. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. If I'm judging them as bad and wrong, if I think they're making me angry, then I have the anger inside of me. So I need to process that and feel the anger. Just feel it in the cells of your body, and let it process. It can get quite intense, but that's one way to do it. But also just understanding that if you're judging something, then it's in you, and that's okay. You don't have to judge yourself. Don't judge yourself for judging. But when you judge something, just feel into it and say, where am I that? And it could be on a really small scale, and it could be in a different situation. But do this sort of self-inquiry thing going on. Inner work, we call it, the homework, the home inner work. That's what he's doing anyway. That's what he's doing. He's going into his caves. The solitude is important still to reflect on things. And the other thing about this card is that if we deal with our emotions and our feelings in this way, it stops us from overreacting. It's easy to overreact in the moment, and it's understandable, but especially in terrible situations. But he's processing the emotions and reflecting on it all so that he can act from a place of love and kindness, and follow his heart and follow his intuition and his divine guidance, because that's where we're going to be able to serve more fully and more readily. So wow, yeah. So there's still a lot of mastering our emotions going on. Obviously, it's an ongoing process, right? Um, but wow, I really feel like, because we are kind of halfway through, right? It's Great Awakening started in 2020, um, and we're going on to 2030. Then we're kind of nearly halfway through, and I think we're over the worst. And this is just seeing the beauty and the joy in our own path when we follow our hearts, and our own service and participation in creating heaven on earth, which is happening. It's happening. And we still need to do a lot of processing on the way. But wow, I like those cards for this week. I really feel a lightness in the air. And when we release those heavy emotions, it helps us see more clearly. And obviously, because it takes that frequency away from us, and we've replaced it with love, which is high frequency. So then our whole reality takes a shift to the next octave, to the next level on the map of consciousness. So obviously, we're going to see more loving people, more peace, more cooperation, more joy, more harmony, um, more love and kindness in the community, because we're going to see it in our reality, because we are it. At the end of last week, we were affirming that we are love. And so we are that love and kindness. And because we do that kind of work, that's what this is, because we do that kind of work, that's how we're creating this new adventure, this new earth, and creating the paradise and fertile lands of the star card, with emotional fulfillment and divine expression and heaven on earth. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you all. Check out the links and info below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.